In a petite locality, dwelled a woman consumed by envy at the triumphs of her neighbors. Whenever she beheld someone enhancing their abode, she would unleash rumors and propagate envious gossip, tarnishing their reputations. However, as time elapsed, the woman found herself progressively isolated, as each neighbor uncovered her true nature. Eventually, nobody desired any association with her, leaving the woman in solitude without a single soul to turn to. One momentous day, while the woman was ensconced within the confines of her home, she was suddenly confronted with a dire predicament as her abode succumbed to flooding. She attempted to seek assistance from her neighbors, but alas, no one extended a helping hand. Overwhelmed by sorrow and loneliness, the woman retreated to her doorstep, utterly bewildered about how to navigate this desperate circumstance. It was then that a vehicle arrived, pulling up next to the neighboring house. Behind the wheel sat a young man unfamiliar to her. Filled with hope upon glimpsing a new face that held the potential to aid her, the woman approached the young man and beseeched him for assistance. Without a moment's hesitation, the young man offered his aid. Upon entering the woman's abode, the young man promptly discerned a broken pipe, swiftly applying a temporary fix, while assuring her that he would return the following day accompanied by a skilled plumber to replace the damaged conduit. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the woman eagerly awaited the dawn of the ensuing day. To her astonishment, the young man appeared the next day in the company of her long-lost neighbor, whom she hadn't laid eyes on in years. They had relocated due to her neighbor's promotion, but had now returned to renovate their dwelling and settle back in. Overwhelmed by embarrassment, considering she had always spoken ill of him and his accomplishments, the woman was confounded by the situation. Driven by curiosity, she inquired of the young man his name and the nature of his connection to the neighbor. Grinning, the young man revealed that he was, in fact, the neighbor's offspring, the very same little boy whom she had reprimanded for playing ball on the road. Having completed his higher education and secured employment in the vicinity, he had returned to refurbish the house and re-establish their residence. Dumbfounded by this revelation, the woman sought an explanation as to why the young man had extended his help when no one else in the neighborhood had been willing to lend a hand, especially considering her unfavorable disposition towards them. Still wearing a smile, the young man replied, "While discussing my father's decision to relocate here, you inadvertently became part of our conversation. Despite your demeanor, my father believed it was essential to assist those in need. Hence, he advised me to be attentive to any requirements you might have. We were unaware of the reasons behind your actions, but that shouldn't impede us from rendering aid. When I mentioned your pipe predicament yesterday and inquired if my father knew of any local plumbers, he decided to personally attend to the matter, for there might be additional issues within your dwelling that necessitate attention. In doing so, he assessed the entirety of the repairs that needed to be undertaken." Overwhelmed by such an act of compassion, the woman sought to repay their kindness. The neighbor, who had been silently listening, spoke up, saying, "If feasible, endeavor to exhibit greater kindness towards others. Strive to assist and propagate benevolence. Through these actions, people will once again forge connections with you and be willing to lend a helping hand. In this manner, I can rest assured, knowing that you are not alone." From that moment onward, the woman underwent a profound transformation in her attitude, dedicating herself to the genuine betterment and triumph of all her neighbors. Bit by bit, her neighbors forgave her, and she attained a happiness hitherto unknown. Moral of the story: it is never too late to amend one's ways and seek redemption. Acts of benevolence and generosity possess the power to mend fractured relationships and unveil a path to a more joyous and gratifying existence.